My name is David McPhillips, McPhillips. I used to lay awake restless about the problems in Washington, D.C. that I was powerless to affect, about how our national debt, now on the brink of $20 trillion, could cause a collapse, destroying the life savings of me and my fellow Nebraskans. I tossed and turned thinking about how far away we were from the limited and enumerated powers and the checks and balances built into our Constitution. We have presidents doing Congress's job with just a phone and a pen. We have Supreme Court justices changing our social fabric here in Nebraska, inventing new rights and ignoring plain language and laws to enforce their political will. And we have Congress delegating authority to unelected executive agencies, which exercise all three powers of government. To paraphrase James Madison in Federalist 47, the accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, and judicial, in the same hands is the very definition of tyranny. I first tried to make a difference by calling and writing my congressmen in D.C., but they were too far away and out of touch to impact. I felt hope after reading Mark Levin's Liberty Amendments about an Article 5 Convention of States. This was not a constitutional convention to eliminate the work of our founding fathers, but a way for you, our state legislators, to help craft proposed amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Amendments that can restore the intended balance of power between the states and the federal government, a balance that has been warped by court rulings and amendments from America's so-called progressive era. I felt hope after learning that Senator Epke was working on a Convention of States resolution right here in Nebraska. I talked directly with her about how to make an impact, and we started by conducting a town hall in my district. This is the way that government should work, at the state and local levels, where the citizens can access their legislators. Now, my newly discovered hope had went a long ways. The Fed's war on coal and subsidies for wind power have threatened to fundamentally transform up to 33,000 acres of land in my county. I joined a local group, initially most concerned with the desolation that the wind turbines would cause to our homes. Further research caused us to hire an attorney to address our safety concerns. We utilized a law dating back to the 1880s that allowed us to pass safety regs at the township meetings. People with the most at stake debated the issues and ultimately passed the safety regs in all 6 townships. This illustrates how regulations should be passed and how decisions that affect Nebraskans should be made. Without amendments from a Convention of States to limit the power of the federal government, our efforts could be defeated, for example, by stricter mandates and increased subsidies. Hope inspired me to help a colleague run for legislature against the incumbent. Because he was from my area and I knew him, I was willing to spend time on his campaign. This newly elected peer is now a co-sponsor of this very resolution. He is someone who the people in the district know and can easily contact. This is where government is most effective, not in D.C. Now, I built relationships with people all across the state in my role as district captain for Convention of States. I've talked to seniors who have seen the light go dim on the city upon the hill, and to millennials who have only been able to read about an America rich in opportunities. To conclude, primary author of the Constitution, James Madison, wrote in Federalist 45, "The powers delegated by the proposed Constitution to the federal government are few and defined. Those which are to remain with the states are numerous and indefinite. I ask you, on behalf of the thousands of other Convention of States supporters right here in Nebraska, to use the tool that our founders gave to you, our state legislators, to help return intended balance back to the Constitution." Thank you.
I've just met like the kindest, most welcoming people who have made me feel empowered.